All right, we're going to talk about results here. So you'd think that to get the results, you would have to go to the results section, correct? Actually, that's not the most efficient way. The most efficient way to get to the results is actually to skip the results and go to the discussion section because that's where they actually recap the results. Now, the results these are really important if you're looking for, some of the specific findings, but if you're going over the general anatomy of a research study and kind of pulling out the big ideas, you really don't need to get into the nitty-gritty of the results. And if you don't have a strong background in statistics, a lot of the results on a quantitative study are going to be very difficult for you to really understand anyway because they use a lot of statistical jargon. So really what you're going to want to do is look at the discussion here. So this survey of teachers in inner city elementary and middle schools offers new information about the strengths and weaknesses of programs and practices of parent involvement. We draw the following conclusions from the data. And here you go. Elementary school programs of parent involvement presently are stronger, more positive, and more comprehensive than those in the middle grades. Okay? That could be this pattern in, let's see, middle grade parents receive less information or guidance. I mean, you could go through this whole thing here. Here they have a finding on classroom organization. Now, generally the topic sentence on each of these sections, these little subsections, they're going to be your main finding. So the main finding is that elementary school programs or parent involvement are better than middle school. In terms of classroom organization, programs of parent involvement are stronger in self-contained classrooms, which goes along with the elementary school. The organization of classrooms determines the number of students that are the teacher's responsibility and affects the frequency and reasons that teachers contact students' parents. All right, that makes sense. In academic subjects, teachers of certain academic subjects, particularly English and reading, use more practices than teachers of other subjects to involve parents in their children's education. And then here we go, discrepancy scores in terms of support. Discrepancy scores show that the greater differences between self and principal, self and teacher colleagues, and particularly self and parents are associated with weaker parent involvement programs and practices and less involvement with families who are typically hard to reach. So if there's a large disagreement, if the teacher scores themselves super high and everyone else is scoring them low, it's low. It's weaker parent involvement programs. When there are stronger parent involvement programs, and this makes sense, there's greater communication and everyone's more on the same page. So they're going to have the similar scores. That makes a lot of sense. And here we have another finding. The 5 major types of parent involvement are related but separable. There's this. Educators and researchers often view minority families and families of educationally disadvantaged students in terms of their deficiencies. Often, however, the deficiencies lie in the school's programs. The study demonstrates important linkages between school programs and teachers' individual practices to involve parents. So this is probably your most major big picture finding here, that school practices really help determine the quality of teachers' efforts. So that's the kind of thing you're going to see. There's going to be more of the conclusion and more of the implications. This big picture kind of thing is the kind of stuff you're going to put in conclusions. So with results, you're going to put those kinds of things. So elementary does better than middle school. All of those findings, those initial sentences that you saw, those are the kinds of things you'll put in results. And then the conclusion is where you're going to put the big picture thing. But I'm going to talk about that more fully in the next segment here. Thanks very much.